Hey friends and enemies. I'm going to continue the story of government and the principles and all that. Okay, so I talked about what government was like in the world from its beginning to the fall of the Roman Empire. Now, after the fall of the Roman Empire, society was a big chaos. You had barbarians running all over the place, pillaging and plundering and killing and stealing and raping people and all that sort of thing. Just a lawless society. And the Muslims were coming up from the Middle East, going through North Africa, come through the Iberian Peninsula. They're ready to just destroy the whole of whatever was left of Western society. So Pope Leo the 13th, Pope Leo the Great, the first, who was a great leader, pope, and statesman, and all that. He saw that happening, and so he had to do something. So what he did was, Charlemagne was about the most powerful person that was there in Europe, the king of the Franks and all that. And he saw the Muslims coming, and he wanted to put some order in society, so he reestablished, in a sense, the Roman Empire, except that he called it the Holy Roman Empire. And he made Charlemagne, he went and personally crowned in 800 AD, Charlemagne as the first king of the Holy Roman Empire. So what you had was actually a marriage between the papacy and the kings, the emperors, and that was known as Christendom. Okay, so the king was at the service of the pope, and the pope would have everybody obey him and all that. So it was kind of a good deal for a lawless, chaotic society, and it worked. Charlemagne was able to defeat the Muslims that came into France, push them back, and establish some kind of order in society. And this Holy Roman Empire lasted until the early 1800s, until the last Roman emperor, abdicated and all that. And and actually they produced a lot of holy kings and queens. I mean, all these countries that had all these canonized kings and queens, Saint Isabel of Portugal, Saint Ferdinand of Spain, Saint Louis of France, Saint Edward of England, Saint David and Margaret of Scotland, Saint Canute of Denmark, Saint Olaf of Norway, Saint Henry of Germany, Saint Duke, there was one there of Italy, I can't remember his name. Saint Wenceslaus of Czechoslovakia, Saint Stephen of Hungary, Saint Margaret of Hungary, Saint Casimir of Poland, Saint Boris of Russia. There was just all these. I mean, this was a golden age of kings and queens who became saints, and their reigns, their kingdoms, their countries were all good, socially well attended societies. You had no big disparity between rich and poor. Everybody was like the same class. Everybody lived well. There was prosperous. You could go from one end of Europe to the other, all in peace and everything else. And the ones that would try to disrupt society, try to break it apart, well, the Inquisition was established. Now, people confuse the Inquisition with the religious Inquisition and the civil Inquisition. See, who took care of the Inquisition was the state, all right, the kings and queens, because they didn't want anybody breaking up Europe. They didn't want, so they would torture or, even kill some of these people. But see, the torture and killing was done by the state, not by the church. If the church killed one or two or whatever heretics, whatever they tried to disrupt society and create divisions and all that, in the whole of history of the Inquisition, I think it was only about 12 people. But it was like the least torturous of all kind of social controlling groups. I mean, you had the secret police of Russia, the secret police of the Nazis. They killed thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people because they were against the state and all that. The church didn't do anything like that. And you had like a lot of Protestants that would torture and kill Catholics, I mean, it was done by Catholics too, but what I'm saying is, you had all kinds of torture societies. But the one that did the least was the church's one. And that ended in history anyways. But, you have to take the historical context time period and all that. So that's what lasted, up to the 1800s. Now, when did the breakup of Europe come about and new kinds of societies and democracies occur? That came in the 16th century, but I'm going to speak about that in the next video.